Hey, folks, welcome to the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. I'm your host, Louis Carlin. We're right here on the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network. New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Collision 2021 has concluded. The 2021 Collision Tour has concluded. The main event, Tom Lawlor putting his New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong Openweight Championship on the line against Chris Dickinson. Two other matches on the show, and it was just a solid hour of professional wrestling. Let's get into it. Let's run down the matches. It was a great show. So match one, we had Clark Connors taking on AJZ. Clark Connors no longer a young lion. He has graduated from the LA dojo. So he came out to new music and he was wearing new gear, wasn't wearing the black young lion trunks anymore. He's got his new gear on. Clark Connors against AJZ. AJZ, a very flamboyant wrestler. And this was a very good match. This was a good opener. They started with some mat wrestling. Connors throws AJZ to the outside as they battle outside the ring for a bit. AJZ hits a slingshot DDT for two. Then AJZ hit this pop-up punch, which was very impressive. Very impressive for another 2 count. More back and forth action till Connors came back with a snap suplex twice. Then Connors hit a really nice pounce on AJZ. AJZ hit a nice springboard knee strike to Clark Connors. We had some really good action going on here. And then Clark Connors actually ended the match with a power slam, spear, and a back suplex for the victory. Clark Connors, fresh off graduating from the LA dojo, gets a big win here over AJZ. This was a good opener. Connors got the big win as expected. I expecting him to win. AJZ, this is his second appearance. His first appearance was against Rocky Romero about 2 weeks ago, which unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but he lost to Rocky Romero. But AJZ looked good. AJZ looked good in the feet here. Clark Connors definitely has a great future ahead of him, as does AJZ. AJZ is also a very talented wrestler, and we need to keep an eye on him. Looking forward to seeing him in New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong again. He's got a unique look about him, and very talented. That pop-up, the pop-up punch was really cool, and he hit a nice springboard knee strike on Clark Connors, which looked really good. So AJZ. Actually, I would love to see these two go at it again. And Clark Connors, again, great talent there. He's definitely going to be a star, without a doubt. Clark Connors is just fantastic wrestler and good opener. Really enjoyed it. And like I said, I look forward to seeing AJZ again. And as well as Clark Connors, I'm sure we're going to see him again down the road. Well, not down the road. I'm sure we're going to see him, very soon, because he is part of New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. So match number 2 was El Phantasmo. Great talent against another great talent on the indie scene, Wheeler Yuta. And this was just a second match, just another really good match here. El Phantasmo has such a great entrance. They start off the match by exchanging offense. Each tries to gain control. Yuta hits a nice drop kick on Phantasmo, knocks him to the outside. Phantasmo was getting frustrated. Phantasmo on the outside, he stalls to get back in. They actually did the 20 counts, like they're up to 10, and Phantasmo is like, oh my God, they're at 10, right? And then they're like at 15. It's like, what do I do? And then he waits, and when they hit 19, then he dives back into the ring, which really good spot. But then he starts working on the fingers of Wheeler Yuta, and he actually stomps on his hand. Phantasmo does his walking the ropes spot, where he walks the entire ring on the ropes while controlling Wheeler Yuta's hands. I actually bit his fingers at one point. Hits a nice springboard crossbody by Phantasmo onto Yuta, gets a 2 count. Yuta actually made a little comeback here. He hit an Olympic slam. He turned a back suplex attempt by El Phantasmo into a crossbody for 2. Yuta climbs the top rope. Hits a nice crossbody off the top rope for 2 again. But then Phantasmo hits a spinning neck breaker. Then a splash by Phantasmo for another 2 count. Splash off the top rope. Then Phantasmo hits his sudden death super kick for the win. So the winner is El Phantasmo as he defeats Wheeler Yuta. But this was an excellent match. This was just an excellent match. Phantasmo is so good, so entertaining. And Wheeler Yuta is such a good talent as well. Good young talent. Did a great job here, and he looked really good in the process. This is Wheeler Yuta's second match as well. And he showed that he definitely belongs in New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong, as he held his own against Phantasmo, and I look forward to seeing more of Wheeler Yuta on New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong. Now, I said AJC wrestled Rocky Romero. I might be mistaken there. It might have been Wheeler Yuta who I'm thinking about wrestled Rocky Romero a few weeks ago. I know AJC did have. It might have been against Carl Fredericks. HAC might have wrestled Carl Fredericks, and if I did make the mistake earlier, I apologize. But I believe, now that I'm thinking about it, that actually Carl Fredericks was the one that wrestled AJZ, and Willie Yuta is the one that wrestled Rocky Romero a few weeks back. But anyway, I hope we see Willie Yuta again, as well as I mentioned earlier about AJZ. Maybe we can see Willie Yuta one-on-one against AJZ. But this was a really good match. Any match Phantasmo is in is going to be a good match. And Willie Yuta held his own, like I said, and a great job. Excellent match here. I really enjoyed this one. And then we had the main event. New Japan Pro Wrestling Openweight Champion Tom Lawlor defending against Chris Dickinson. And my goodness, what a match this was. What a main event. This was just fantastic. They started the match like an MMA fight. Got some mat wrestling, both going for ankle locks. Then we got more MMA style fighting. Then some more mat wrestling with submission moves applied. It started a little slow, but then it really picked up. Things started picking up. Dickinson takes control of the action. Match moved to the outside of the ring. Dickinson lands some hard chest chops on Tom Lawlor. Lawlor comes back, snaps Dickinson's head off the top rope, and then things really started picking up, and they just kicked it into overdrive. And Lawlor drives Dickinson to the mat. Lawlor works the leg with the figure four. Lawlor tries to lock on a rear naked choke, but Dickinson is able to get to the ropes. Dickinson comes back with a superplex off the top rope, hits a number of corner clotheslines onto Lawlor. Death Valley driver by Dickinson. Brain buster by Dickinson for 2. He just couldn't put Lawlor away. Then we got a spinning enziguri by Dickinson for another 2. STF by Dickinson trying to tap out Lawlor, but Lawlor gets to the ropes. Lawlor comes back with some really good offense and gets a near fall. They exchange strikes, going back and forth. Action is just incredible at this point. And until Tom Lawlor finally lands a sleeper suplex on Chris Dickinson and gets the win. So at 21 minutes and 16 seconds, Tom Lawlor retains the New Japan Pro Wrestling Openweight Championship. And what a war this was. Holy smoke. This was just a fantastic, spectacular main event. Both Lawlor and Dickinson just turned it way up. And they just had they turned it up full blast for this one. Such terrific action, such intense moments in this match. This was just an absolute war. Terrific main event. I absolutely loved this one. Absolutely loved it. And Tom Lawlor is so talented, as is Chris Dickinson, and they both proved it in this match. Man, there was times in this match where I thought Dickinson might pull it out. We might get a surprise victory. We might get a title change. But of course, that wasn't the case. But this was just fantastic. If you haven't seen this match, you have to see this one. This was just a splendidly fantastic, wonderful, spectacular professional wrestling match. It's a must-see match, in my opinion. A must-see match. And after the match is over, Lawlor goes to the back. He's with Danny Limelight, and they're talking about the match. And Carl Fredericks comes out, confronts Tom Lawlor, and Carl Fredericks will be the next challenger for Tom Lawlor. Down the road, maybe in a few weeks, we'll see Tom Lawlor against Carl Fredericks, which should be a fantastic match as well. But it will be hard to match the main event that we saw here today with Dickinson and Lawlor. Just fantastic. I can't say it enough. Just a fantastic must-see match. I just absolutely loved it. I'm still, just thinking about it, just makes me want to watch it again, man. Makes me want to watch it 2 or 3 more times. It was just a fantastic match. Wow. Great hour of professional wrestling, New Japan Pro Wrestling Strong this week. And again, Collision Tour 2021 has concluded with this show. And they did announce another, I think they said it was called Ignition. So I think Ignition 2021, if I got it wrong, I'm sorry, I should have wrote it down. But Ignition 2021 tour starts next week, and I can only guess that the main event in about 2 or 3 weeks at the end of that tour will be Carl Fredericks challenging Tom Lawlor for the New Japan Pro Wrestling Openweight Championship. So on that note, I'm going to say thank you very much for listening to me today. I'm Lewis Carlin. This is the Alliance Pro Wrestling Network podcast. And until next time, thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye. Stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.